Hey, glad you can make it. Welcome to Fantasy Dad Pods, where dad bods are glorified and dad jokes are encouraged. I'm JT, accompanied by Sean. Sean, how we doing?
We're not doing too bad. Not doing too bad. Just hanging out. Turned off the sprinklers this weekend. So I don't know if I told you this. We found a snake in our yard. Did I tell you that?
Yeah, yeah.
So what I so based off that, we have to clean out. The little they're not gutters, but underneath the house where you put like the styrofoam and to kind of
The
insulate your house.
the vents,
what, what,
yeah,
what,
or whatever.
whatever you call that, the vents, yeah, underneath the house. And we have a lot of leaves and stuff like that. Actually, we have some trees in our yard, and I'm like terrified of like snakes. It being in that.
Oh yeah.
So what I told my wife was, I was like, I'm gonna have the air blower and I'm gonna blow it. But if a snake comes out in the air blow and lands on me, we're burning the house down and moving immediately because I'm not messing with that. So that's my fun. I think next weekend is take down the outdoor TV and try not to get attacked by a flying snake, literally a flying snake, while I do that. So
Wow.
yeah, that's my game plan for next week. And wish me luck. If we're recording next week, that means I did not burn my house down. So there you go. There you go. We were kind of coming up with a game plan this weekend and had some other stuff and some family hanging out time this weekend. But yeah, what about you?
We had our playoff game for the oldest. Did not go our way. Shout out to number 13 on the gray team. Just kind of like, one man show. But they played well. It just gave up. It came down to just who made the big plays on offense and who got the key stops on defense. And but it was okay with effort. Got new tires, new brakes on the SUV.
There you go.
Also blew out the sprinklers and I also did it on the RV, so that's good. Returned the football equipment for YMCA, and we start YMCA basketball this Saturday for practice.
Straight into it.
Straight into it.
Just not even a weekend, not even one weekend break. Just so if you had made like the next round of the playoffs, would it have just been double dipped?
Yeah, most likely an AM football game, and then our practice is in the afternoon for
Oh,
basketball.
okay. So it's
So
just a practice at least. Okay.
it would
Okay.
have, yeah, it's a practice. Yeah, the following is right after Halloween is the game. That Saturday after Halloween. So,
Okay.
um, yeah, yeah. Wife joined the Little League board. Small role concessions, but
There you
foot,
go.
foot in
That
the
was
door.
that was like when you're done playing your baseball game at Little League, right over there at Liberty Christian. You'll know what I'm talking about, JT. You'd always run to that little concession stand, get a suicide soda pop, or it was one of each. Get
Right.
little spritz of each. Yeah. And I can't remember what the double one was. Like they do it and they'd go back. It had some other name. I can't graveyard or something like that.
Graveyard. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's this. Oh man, see, it's all like fourth grade baseball. Like just all
That's
come back. Suicide and graveyard. That was a good pull. I can't remember to. We give my dog 2 pills and peanut butter, and every like my ratio is like 80% forgetting to put the lid back on. But I pulled out the two names of soda pop from fourth grade.
there. You
Uh,
go.
so I think what's up, my memory. I got it. I remember the important stuff.
Yeah, my 8-year-old, that's he likes to mix it up. He gets like a mini, graveyard. Although it's a weird combo. His go-to is root beer as the base,
Okay,
and
solid base.
then usually the second is lemonade, which kind of is odd, but it kind of works. Ever have like the Coke lemonade trend from a
Yeah,
couple
what
decades
what
ago?
what root beer is it? Is the base
Well, I mean,
usually with the
whatever
half,
they,
but like
yeah,
I feel like
and
a mug is really good, but Barks has a bite to it. You know what I mean? Like it
yeah,
feels like
Bargs
if
is
you
the
do that,
last option.
yeah,
Yeah,
if you do that, which Barks is good, but like if you're mixing it with like a lemonade, I feel like you're just gonna be like you're just fighting the whole way.
yeah.
Whereas like a mug, you could get like like a mug with with vanilla or like you said lemon. That sounds pretty good. Like that sounds like a Coke.
Hmm.
It's like a good base. But you get some
Yeah.
with too much kick. Like I'm like, but okay, I
And
respect the game. I respect the game.
well, in terms of, I mean, we still say like avoid the caffeine. You don't need it.
Yeah,
Sugar's enough for you. So it's
yeah.
usually that narrows it down to like root beer, Sprite, orange Fanta lemonade. A lot of stuff is just
Yeah.
Coke products mostly around.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he
Okay.
likes to do that. And then one other update, which I'm pretty proud of. I think I mentioned a couple weeks ago, a couple podcasts ago. Oh, like I reintroduced Garrett to Catan, Settlers of Catan,
Yeah. Okay.
and we play Catan nightly, pretty much at this point.
Oh man.
we sneak in a game. Usually, it's
Just
about
you two?
40 minutes, and the wife. There's
Okay.
the three
Okay.
of us, and
Youngest
the
doesn't
young.
want to play, or is not probably not.
He's played with brother. They woke up early one morning and I came downstairs. I'm like, what's going on? And they were like, on the weekend, last weekend or something, or
Playing Catan.
Sunday. They're just playing Catan. And he was like, don't worry, Dad, we're not robbing from each other. We're just like rolling dice and like building and trading. I'm like, well, it's pretty nice of you,
Yeah.
because when he had his friend over a few weeks ago to show him, ruthless, cutthroat,
It's
and
just cutthroat.
and his friend walked away like, I hate that game. I was like, damn it, like you were
He's
a
a
little
man.
too much. So
Oh,
anyway,
the kids are. There's nothing wrong. Your oldest seems like all gas, no brakes when he wants to be. He's really good though with when he doesn't. But when he's competitive, those juices, he's into sports. Those competitive juices going. He
yeah,
is your kid after all.
yeah,
And so I feel like when he wants to win, it's cutthroat. And I'm like, you got to, especially when it was someone else's first time game. Like, hey, these are kind of the rules. Or kind of, I want to win, but we're got to get you into the game first so you play with me a second time. I got to kind of lure you in a little bit. But
right.
yeah, it's
I'm not doing so well in terms. I'm surprised he keeps wanting to play Catan. I'm a hot streak right now. And
man.
we're talking me versus the wife versus him. He's 8. Like, Dad, man, how do you win all the time? I was like, oh, that's so weird. Maybe don't put your first settlement on a 4, 3, and a 12. Like, just I don't think
It's the
the
dots at the bottom are easy. Just add up the dots.
the ore brick wheat is gonna get you very far with
Yeah,
like, yeah. I was like, you gotta play with what the board gives you. Where's the high numbers that are rolled? What kind of
yeah,
resources is that, or is there just like a really abundancy of one resource because they've got really good up? Well, then let's try to get that plus the nice little 2 to 1 port,
yeah.
like
If
whatever
there's
the board gives you.
a lot of wood on the board, you got to monopolize the brick. Everyone's gonna be coming to you for the brick.
Right.
So, or like you're gonna look at the game, you're gonna see how your board allows. You go wheat and ore. You're like, look, we're gonna do development cards here. Or
Yeah.
we're gonna start going development cards. That's how we're gonna win this game. We're gonna do longest road. You got to do something, but like, yeah,
Yeah.
just diversify. Get some numbers out there.
The wife likes the longest road.
I
The
never did that.
kid,
Yeah, I which is
yeah. I
probably
mean, I'll
weakness.
fall into it, but
Yeah, it's probably
actually
weakness.
the last 2 or 3 games, I've got to like 8 victory points and then been like one road that connected both my locations.
Yeah,
Like I was on the brink and I was like, I just don't want to put the target on my back. And I was like, and longest road, and that's 10 and the win. And it's like, so now the wife's onto it. But yeah, the kid, he really liked the development cards early. And I was like, you can't sell out for only that. Like
yeah, yeah,
he would
yeah,
put the spaces just on sheep, wheat, and ore, and that was like it. And I'm like, they're not going to get rolled a whole lot. It's an 11, a 3, and a 4. Like you
yeah,
can't
yeah,
force it. Like you
yeah,
just gave me essentially the win by giving me a 6 and an 8 of wheat right next to the coast where there's a wheat port. Like you just gave me the win. Like, do we
yeah.
want to play this out? But anyway, it's fun. I like that game. It's a lot of
Catan,
diversity.
well, and it's I mean, it's why people like chess. It's got a little bit of strategy to it, but it's pretty, for the most part, pretty basic, and that's what
Hmm.
makes it fun because it's basic. And you one game, everyone can learn how to play, and then once you're on it's like you could be playing for years, or you could be playing 2 times, and you're like,
Oh,
okay,
that's true. Yeah.
I basically get the premise of this, and then it's go time.
Yep. And then
Yep.
honestly, 40 minutes to an hour done.
Yeah.
Like it escalates pretty quickly usually.
And then if you want to get more crazy, there's a lot of expansions which make it fun. But again, classics, there's nothing wrong with the classic. It just gets like boom. So it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Shout out. I think my brother played competitive Catan. I don't know how that works.
Ooh.
I assume there's no trading because You know what I mean? Like, how could you how
Right,
could you trade
collusion.
like yeah, like this is a number one player. Well, I'm like, well, we just don't trade with you. Like, and then you just lose. Like, I don't know how that would. Yeah, I don't know how that would work.
Always rob from that guy.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
like, this guy's the best. But they're like, well, so he's constant as a robber, and we don't trade with him. Like,
Right.
I don't know how. Like, three people against you would just be a nightmare at that point. Like, you'd never win. So,
Also, shout out to our mutual friend Garner. He's the one that introduced me to that years and years ago. I
I
actually
think
tonight. Oh,
did
good.
you introduce me to Catan?
I very well might have.
It's
For
either
sure.
you or our
Or
buddy Tim.
I
It's you.
probably was like, yeah,
Yeah,
but you might have been like, oh wait, I've played this with either Tim or my brother like a couple times randomly,
maybe
but
because I remember I played it in my old parents' basement one time, and we had 6 people, and so we had to double up. Like, blue white was like a team, and like versus
I might have been there for one of
you probably
those.
were.
That sounds
That's what
really
I'm saying. Like, I don't
familiar.
know who there was like, but yeah, you were definitely there the first time I played.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I also mentioned to my kid, I was like, hey, let's get some graph paper and like you can map out like each time the dice is rolled. It's really not, I mean, he's going to
Yeah,
assume, oh,
yeah.
it's going to get rolled more. I was like, well, statistically, no. But like, it's also fun to track. And like, he'd be super into that. He really likes like, kind of
And
like
he'll learn the
math and
difference
stuff
between
like that.
odds and probability. There you go.
There you go. Boom.
There you go.
Which kind of
Um,
translates to fantasy sports. Am I right?
fantasy sports. So we're going to talk about injuries, but talking about fantasy sports, I just got 50 points dropped on me by Lamar and the kicker and lost by 2 in fantasy. Shout out, Jeff. I hate you, but I don't because
Boom. Roasted.
you do have Lamar and uh, Tucker. So, or kicker for Baltimore. Tucker. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Justin.
I was right. I was like, why am I doubting Tucker here? Like, basically 50 points from the two of them, and I lost. So I guess
Dang.
shout out. I guess there we go. Winner of I'm gonna butcher this. I'm sorry. Like 2000. Remember, you've met him, JT, a couple times, but he told us one story. You were there, buddy's bachelor party. He won like the 2007 Yahoo Open Invitational of like fantasy baseball,
Mm-hmm.
something like that. The whole nation. So shout out, Jeff knows his fantasy stuff for sure. So, but he gave me a the dreaded congrats on Sunday evening of winning, and I sent him
No.
the counter like, what the hell, man? Text like,
He
but
robbed you. That's just
yeah,
what we call it.
that's what we
That's
call it.
our
Let's call it after
inside
a buddy
joke.
robbed. Yeah, it's what we do. Yeah. Speaking of robbed, carted off the field. I don't know. This is transition. We have some injuries, and there's a lot of them.
A plethora.
Both Bucks receivers got hurt today. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. Chris Godwin looks like he broke his leg or something because spoiler alert, we are recording half an hour after Monday Night Football, so we
Both
obviously
of
don't
them.
we don't have a full update on any of these Monday night things. But it looks like it was an aircast, so it looks like something's broken.
Yeah, aircast. It did not hinge the way that should hinge. Yeah.
Yeah, legs don't go that way. Mike Evans, hammy. It's one of those. Who knows? It's a week to week, classic week to week injury.
Yeah, speculation right now.
Yeah, it's who knows. There, the one that I thought was surprising. I thought I heard mumblings that Chris McCaffrey was going to play this last weekend. Won't play next weekend either. It looks like. So, but it looks like after targeting week 10 after the bye. So, act accordingly.
And then didn't Brady misspeak and say he's out for the season? So that's the insider info.
Tom Brady. He is calling the Seahawks game next week, and it'll be my first like real interaction with him calling a football game, and I have not heard good things. So
yeah, that's true.
Not looking forward to that. Again, speaking of injuries, Debo pneumonia, hospitalized, fluid in his lungs. That's stay away from the doctor from the Charger game. Remember who he stabbed Tyrod Taylor. Shout out. And then Brandon Ayuk, torn ACL, MCL. Done for this year and probably the start of next year too. So that is a real bummer. Braxton Berrios, I don't know if anyone has him, but also torn ACL. Did not see that. And Cooper Kupp finally, back to playing. DK Metcalf, knee. MCL sprain week to week. Jaden Daniels with ribs week to week. I think they'll play. You
Right.
put those like mega casts on.
The way he celebrated when the rookie was it the rookie tight end or quarterback? I forget who got their first touchdown. He put his double hands in the air.
Mariota's the backup.
That's right. Mariota came in.
Yeah.
Tight end. The way he celebrated, it was like effortless, 2 hands straight in the air, didn't even hesitate. I was like, I think he's okay.
Yeah.
Just from an outsider
perspective, yeah.
Coach on the couch.
Dolphins did designate Tua to return, so that's big. He is on track to return as of week 8 right now, they say, against the Cardinals. So celebrate all of you offensive player roster people who roster offensive players from Miami. That maybe maybe there's some life there. Trying to think here. If you roster Deshaun Watson, don't anymore. I don't know if we needed it this week to tell you that, but torn Achilles, officially done. I'm trying to see. It looks like all of the Packers pass catchers were had some activation. Wicks, Watson, Reed, Tucker Kraft, so all played. But yeah, that looks like pretty much all the injuries that happened then. Unless you saw anything else, did I miss anything?
In Coug news, Gardner Minshew now the starter again with Aiden O'Connell breaking his thumb. But
yeah, nice specifying at Coug news because I'm not sure either was relevant fantasy wise. But yeah,
unless you're in like the super duper flex league with like 4 quarterbacks.
What, 15-team leagues, 2 quarterbacks? I guess technically at that point you got to have, you
have to have every starter.
Yeah, so you probably should be rocking every starter, rolling dice on 4-string wide receivers, I guess. But yeah, there's actually, now that I think about it, if let's say you have 15-team league, tangent here, sorry, 15-team league, 2 quarterbacks, and it's big rosters, you would almost for sure have to have every quarterback because, like, let's say, like, O'Connell's like 32 or whatever, 30, and let's say basically rostering all quarterbacks. They're definitely a quarterback's gonna get more than like you rolling a dice on a 4th wide receiver, right? Like they're for sure gonna get you some points. Now,
right,
the upside's not gonna be very high on O'Connell, but unless you're willing to avoid the boomer bust of like the 4th guy in Atlanta. I feel like it's kind of like you're like, if I'm playing it safe, I'm taking a quarterback. So that does make sense. If you're doing a 2 quarterback lead in 15-team league, yeah, you can maybe Gardner Minshew is an option. But
your bye week would just suck.
That's just
dealing with a bye week. And then
honestly, you just draft 2 quarterbacks with the same bye week and just get out of the way. You're just like, look, I'll punt this week and I'll be good the rest of it.
Right. And then would Tatum be super valuable?
With who?
Isn't it the tight end quarterback in New Orleans?
Oh, Taysom Hill?
Hill. Why was I saying Tatum?
Yeah, but he doesn't play. I don't think he has eligibility anymore because he just didn't play enough. He didn't throw enough last year, I think he's just a tight end now.
Well, remember in Yahoo, he
oh well, yeah. I mean, he looked at the position in the huddle and he got a quarterback eligibility.
Right.
So, like, did you say more than 10 words to the quarterback eligible? You thought about it.
That's
pretty sure JSN, who threw it past the DK this last week's quarterback eligible in Yahoo at this point. But we will get to targets here. And we're still a week, not fully updated since, again, the week just ended for total targets, but we will talk. Oh, did it just update? It just updated. There we go. Garrett Wilson's still leading, but that's a little misleading since he still has a 23 from week 5. He does have a 9 lead though. So, I mean, he was in pace to be pretty good either way, but yeah, not a lot of movers and shakers here. It's just crazy that Malik Neighbors is still 5 after missing 2 weeks, but it's just, I guess the Giants are still just I mean, like, Malik Neighbors comes back, gets 8, Wan'Dale Robinson still gets 9. You know what I mean? They're just, it's going to be a 2-horse race there, and that's honestly not the worst thing in the world. Deontay Johnson, Carolina, having top 7 targets is quite surprising for me at 58. And Brock Bowers, the beauty of all tight ends right now, sitting tied with Malik Neighbors.
14 this week alone.
Just getting fed. So
Actually, whoa, what is trending right now? Week 7, 4 of the top 5 target receivers on the week are tight ends. It's
ooh,
week 7 renaissance for tight ends. We got Bowers, Njoku,
yeah, not even like
our boy Will Disley.
Will Disley, not even like necessarily like little either. Like Brock Bowers and David Njoku got 14 apiece. Like that's not that's yeah, that's a nice day. That's a nice day. There we go. There we go. Tight end renaissance. You're right, JT. You're right. I like that.
Dang.
I like that.
I feel like maybe Njoku could see. I mean, he's 8% rostered in Yahoo, so it'd be kind of tough. But like, depending on who they go with, because didn't both backup quarterbacks see game time?
Yeah, and it's
So it could be a
like
little bump.
yeah, it sounds like it won't be Winston, but I don't know what Cleveland. I don't know. I'm trying to guess Cleveland at this point. They're also. Honestly, I figured Chubb would be like it'd be like oh you figured Chubb would get it crazy, but he's still just coming off of his injury. He had a nice little day, but again, it was a little day, nothing crazy. Didn't want to go nuts with him, so that would have been my gut. Would be like, oh, just leave my running back, but my running back usually would be coming off of a massive injury, so I don't know what they're gonna do next week. I just don't. So I'd maybe sit out Cleveland next week and then kind of get a gauge on where they're looking. But maybe Chubb day, but who knows? Who knows? Two Seahawks in the top 10 here, still living off that 16 weeker JSN, but 12, 7, 9, 6 was a little down, but still they're continuing to air it out over there, and it did not hurt running backs either. It turns out.
And then give it up for the Seahawks defense, making Kyle Pitts look like a fantasy relevant tight end. And he's just gonna. If you have Pitts, I guess you're like, oh, I'm holding on to him for a little bit longer. There's a pulse. We just saw
Yep.
it.
Yep. Speaking of nice targets, I got to touch on one. I just saw him here. But it's Cleveland or not Cleveland, Pittsburgh wide receiver George Pickens.
Yes.
Him getting with Russell Wilson. I think I'm not like breaking the bank here, but I think like everyone kind of saw it coming. But like Russell throws a good deep ball, and he is such a good contested catch wide receiver. Maybe like one of the best I've seen in a long time. And I was like, oh, this is just what it's going to be. And it immediately, second quarter, came to fruition. And I was like, oh, this is just what it was. I was like, wow, no easier could there have ever been a more easy layup. To the point where they're so easy, you're like, it can't work this way. It just can't work that way. And they were like, no, it exactly works the way you thought it would. And I was like, okay, well, so he got 9 targets. But again, these are going to be deep targets. Like,
all or nothing.
Got 5 of the 9 targets for 22 yards a pop. And that's kind of what it's going to be, I feel like. 9 targets for him is not the same as 9 targets for like a Kyle Pitts, because Kyle Pitts, is going to get, something else. But like all of his, at 9 a pop, 9 yards per reception for Kyle Pitts. Jordan Pickens they're going to air it out with him. That is what Russell wants to throw on the outside. And that's what Pickens runs. Outside go balls. That's what it's going to be. So yeah, he's going to, and again, against the Jets, apparently they have a very good secondary. I hear all three of their corners are very good. So
Right.
it wasn't against nobody's out there. So he does get to play the Giants, Washington next. So sky's the limit over there for that guy. But yeah, that was just what I noticed. I was like, not all. It's what I tell somebody when I can't remember. It was probably my brother. He was like, oh, they threw for a touchdown. I was telling someone on Twitter. I was like, well, not all touchdowns are the same. You know what I mean? Like, what if Brock Purdy throws a screen yard and Ayuk runs 80 yards, or Mahomes throws quadruple coverage 40 yards downfield? One of those is a lot harder than the other one to do. I could do one of those throws. I cannot do the other one. So not all touchdowns are created equal. So the same with all targets. Depending on the target does matter. And the perfect example is going to be Pickens going forward. His targets are going to be massive. He gets 9 a week. Huge.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Let's see some. I see we got some snap count.
Oh yeah. It's tough to really dive into that too much.
Yeah.
I did want to check in on Jameson Williams because now he's facing a potential 2-game suspension for PEDs. Or
Yes.
no, was it P or
No,
substance?
it's well, it is. It's PDs. Yes.
Okay.
Or some
Anyways,
failed drug thing of some sort. Yeah.
yeah, and then seeing there was like a few minutes left. He was 0 targets, 0, and I was like, "What's his snap count?" He still had 75% of snaps in the game, but I feel like he's seen a little bit less the last 2 weeks. So I'm wondering if they knew something was coming down the pipe. So just kind of interesting. And for as tight as that locker room seems, and for as much as the head coach Dan Campbell has put it kind of out there, like his trust in him coming off the gambling allegation stuff, I'm like, and I'm a Jameson Williams fantasy. He's on my roster. I'm just
Yeah.
like, I'm fully prepared for him to come back week 10 and have 0 value.
Yeah.
It is completely in the realm of good possibility. We'll just have to sit and watch, and at least I would say at least bench him and hang on to that ticket if you can, because I mean he's had a really good season and intricate part of that offense. But who says Sam Laporta isn't just interchange and we're just going to go Sam Laporta more than we ever have this season? And
We
I
talked
don't
last
know.
week. I like Tim Patrick too. Anyways, and now
Mm,
he comes in that role perfectly. And
yeah,
again, he
that's
runs the
true.
same routes that Jared Goff likes to throw. So it might just lose playing time to a guy who fits very well in that system already. So yeah, I'd be nervous just playing time. I think Tim Patrick, we're gonna get into pickups here later, but I think he's a big pickup. I was looking at snap counts for the Packers because as we're all healthy, looking at all the wide receivers for the Packers, I am curious as to who is getting the most reps, and it is Romeo Dobbs, 83%. The
Hmm.
next highest is Reed at 74. So I think clearly Wicks and Watson barely hovering, averaging around 50 between the two of them, a little less, probably 48 between the two of them. It is a Dobbs and Reed show. Those are the two starters. Those are the guys. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean, uh, a whole lot of like, because they're going to spread that ball around, but Dobbs is the one where I'm like, this guy got 83% of the snaps with no special teams. Like he's like clearly the one, if there is a one, and he's the guy I would roster. I would downgrade immediately everybody because it was kind of the first week where everyone's healthy and I thought they were all good to go and they were, as healthy as they're going to be in the season. And they were like Dobbs was the guy for them. So
Right.
he's the guy going forward, I believe. That's what I really wanted. I really wanted to see that team specifically, how they matched up how they lined up offensively. So yeah, that was really the snap count one that I wanted to see. But we can get into the ads if you want
Yeah.
now.
I looked at the Bills. Just Cooper just wasn't involved enough. Too short of a week, but that would be one to keep an eye on for because they just never did have a number one receiver. I think Cooper takes over the target share, but I feel like Shakir could be of value, and that's been the guy all along the season before Cooper showed up. So it'd just be interesting to see. But I feel like I just don't know about Coleman. I feel like if someone else gets dropped during a bye week or something because of it or what have you, I probably maybe take the opportunity to pick them up and I don't know if Coleman is someone to roster moving
Yeah,
forward, but you could probably wait another week to see how things shake out.
so it goes. Yeah. I think a lot of people overestimate the one because the one doesn't just do things for themselves. They also open up things for everybody else. Like imagine you're playing, I don't know, the Jets or something like that, and Sauce doesn't have to cover you then. He can cover Amari, follow Amari.
Mm-hmm.
That does things for you as the number two more than it would have
Oh yeah,
otherwise. So I think it's a big boost to the number two as well. So you're right there.
yeah,
All right, let's go to some ads. You ready for that? I got some QBs lined up here.
yeah. Let's go QBs.
So I got the number one that I'm seeing here is Drake
And
May.
Russ, you trust, isn't it?
No,
Nope.
no.
Oh, sorry.
I see
Jumped
Drake
the
May,
gun.
and I don't disagree. Drake May, and I listened to film nerds and everything like that, and they were very pleased with Drake May's outside the numbers as well, like what he did processing wise. And
Mm-hmm.
if he's the guy going forward, he's averaging a little over about 21 points a game in fantasy. standard scoring. So that's not too bad. I'm all for that. Sign me up. Although I guess JT, I'll ask you, Danger Russ, what do you do going forward? This, I guess my question, I'll answer it kind of myself. They go Giants and Washington. I'm pretty on board with both of those. But like, what do you say going forward in the season? What is your stance on Danger Russ?
Oh, I didn't get to see his game. It would have been good to see some of the film of it, but just based on like the situation, they got a good defense there. The talent around him, I just feel like in looking at the remaining schedule, I mean, he does have the bye week to deal with, but it's a pretty nice setup to try to either maintain keeping the game or might need to be passing because they might be behind. They got Baltimore twice still. They've got
They played like their whole division twice, don't they?
yeah. Oh, that's true. Yeah, and then
Yeah.
Kansas City in a playoff matchup, week
Yeah.
17. Fantasy playoff, but
Yeah.
um,
They might not
I'd
be playing
be.
Kansas City. So at this rate,
Oh
like, it's
yeah.
like,
So it's a positive outlook. I don't think he's worth a waiver, but like if you get in a bind for a 2 QB league for sure, like could use on a bye week or something. Like
yeah, I feel like this week the Giants. Like if you have a bye week, he is not a bad
yeah.
pickup for the Giants. But I think a long way will go with how he plays against the Giants, and then probably after the bye week Washington, because it is 1 week. It's 1 week, and
Mm-hmm.
let's not get too crazy. But let's see how the next 2 weeks go against defenses he should be pretty good against. And if those turn out to be 25 points like he did now, then it's like, okay, we could really start to assess where this is. But he's rostered 5% of leagues. It's fine. Like you said, don't run to the waiver wire. Let someone else do that. But it was impressive showing the first game. So that is nice to see. Why is Jared Goff rostered in like the problem? I guess the problem with it is he's just I'm looking at Jared Goff's totals and he's only cracked 22 times this year. Only cracked 20 twice. Interesting. I think Jared Goff should be rostered more than 48% of leagues. I'm just going to throw that out there. He is getting a bump, but I think that offense is clicking on all cylinders. I don't think losing Williams is going to be huge, but I think Jared Goff is a nice pickup. And they've had their bye week already. Yeah, they've had their bye week. So Tennessee,
Yeah.
Green Bay, Houston, Jacksonville, Indy, sign me up. Like I think they're moving. Great O-line, never a problem. Let's do it. So Jared Goff needs to be rostered as 1 year bye week for sure. 1 year bye week films for sure. Like
What was his percentage for ESPN?
48.
Okay, because Yahoo it's 86. That's quite the discrepancy.
That's
Yeah.
weird.
So ESPN hates Jared Goff.
Yeah.
Dun-na-na. This just in breaking news.
Like Kirk Cousins is like rostered in 85% of leagues, and I feel like they're basically getting the same total. Kirk Cousins had that 35-point monster, but it hasn't had more than 17 in another week. He's had 3 single-digit games, and he rostered 80%. And Jared Goff's sitting here like, guys, like I know I'm not like killing it, but I've never had a single-digit week. Like, what do we do? I dropped 19 points last week. Sorry, but I'm like, I don't get it. Yeah, Jared Goff should be. I don't know if he should be much higher than Kirk Cousins, but he should be rostered more than Kirk Cousins. What did you say it was in Yahoo?
For Kirk?
Yeah, or no, for Jared Goff.
Oh, was it 86? Yeah.
That sounds right. Yeah, it should be 86.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's so low at ESPN, but that is a travesty. Do you got anybody buy or sell in fantasy for QBs?
Oh, I'd be willing to entertaining selling Brock Purdy. I don't know what you could get for him, but like if you're like in this weird bind, and obviously we're kind of selling low, but I don't know, Purdy. He's coming off a week where
he lost his 2 receivers.
I know it took him 2 rushing touchdowns just to get 20 fantasy points this week.
Yeah.
And he had 3 picks, no passing touchdowns.
And in 2 weeks, theoretically, he won't get those because McCaffrey's coming back.
Mm-hmm.
And then Debo will probably come back, but obviously Ayuk's not coming back. So, yeah.
I just feel like you could maybe sneakily not quote unquote sell high or low, if you will, but like someone just looked at the surface. Oh yeah, he had another 20-point week. He's never had a single-digit week. It's good offense. I mean, his bias coming up week 9, but like, you could maybe swing something
I mean,
savvy and kind of jump ship.
what do they maybe have played one NFC West game? And it's not like the NFC West, other than the 49ers, have good defenses. They're all bad. So he's got like
Right.
theoretically 5 good matchups at least the rest of the season. So, and again, don't they play in conference? Or they try to play like in division games at the end. And so theoretically, playoffs or championships, you're looking at the 49ers playing the NFC West defenses. That's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
You could
Rams
probably
week 1 of the playoffs.
yeah, you could probably talk your way into it. I have a crazy question for you. When do you start having the conversation of dropping Mahomes? Has had 2 weeks of over 15 points,
Mm-hmm.
and his high is 17. Now it's basically been that. It's been literally 14 flat to 17
Oh my gosh.
38, but that's it the entire time. More picks than touchdowns. They're 5-0, which is like, or 6-0, which is like the craziest thing. But
That is crazy.
like it comes down to, obviously Mahomes isn't playing that well, but I don't know if it's a Mahomes thing versus like a team thing. And you don't want to be the guy who, like, because you saw Mahomes just turn it like nuclear in the playoffs last year.
Right.
I feel like this offense with Andy Reid and him, it's going to go off at some point, and it'll just be like, okay, this is who we are. But he's costing me weeks in fantasy when I roster him in one league. He is costing me weeks. Like I would
Right.
probably win 2 weeks without Mahomes being my QB, or at least old Mahomes being my QB. I'd have 2 more wins. What point do I be like? But that's the thing. Like, obviously, you don't cut him, but like, do I pick up somebody else and be like, look? I mean, they're playing Vegas. Obviously, Vegas and Tampa Bay. I'm rolling with them against those two horrible pass defenses. So I'm like, absolutely. But like, you get to Denver, you get to Buffalo. I'm just like, do I? Like if he puts up 14 burgers against Vegas and Tampa Bay, we got to have the conversation.
Right.
Like, right at that point, like we're 9 weeks into the season. I want to make the
Yeah.
fantasy playoffs. I gotta get at least a 20-point. We talked about Jared Goff. Jared Goff's we were like, oh, Jared Goff's only got 2 20-point games. 2 more than Mahomes.
That's a lot of frustration right there. I mean, you hate to sell because you would want to get your full value. I mean, if you were just decimated by a bunch of injuries recently,
but you're the guy who sells
and
Mahomes. You know what I mean? And like, you're just like, you're gonna never live it down. You're like, he's traded Mahomes, and then Mahomes went off, and you're gonna be the guy who's for 20 years. Like your league. You're like, you idiot.
I don't think you need to go out of your way just because you're frustrated by Mahomes. But if the rest of your fantasy team in context is something is holding you back, whether it's a bunch of injuries recently or whatever it is, I feel like you'd have to kind of shoot the moon in that regard and be like, look, it's not going to get it done with Mahomes, even if he started going off and they traded for a wide receiver and brought in somebody new and they just, whatever it was, like my fantasy team as a whole needs a full just kind of refresh. And then Mahomes is my blue chip that I want to cash in. Like I could see that, but anything short of that where it's just like I'm frustrated with him, well, yeah, bench him, pick up a weekly matchup and ride it out and see if he has a pulse. What he's capable of. I feel like they should be in the trade market. I haven't heard anything for a wide receiver.
The 2 receivers kind of went already. Who else is kind of?
I don't know, but Juju just got dinged up, so it's just
they're beat up. They got guys to come in, and they brought in the offseason. What was it? Hollywood Brown. They traded for him, and then they brought in Juju, and both are done basically. And then Rasheed Rice broke his leg, so it's just like Hollywood Brown done, Juju hurt, Rasheed Rice boom.
Garrett Wilson rumored, or is that just a dirty rumor?
That's a rumor you're starting. Could you imagine what did they trade for Devontae?
Hey, that was real. That was not. I'm not making up anything. Garrett Wilson. They actually threw it out there. I was like, that seems counterintuitive.
What if they trade for Devontae Adams? Double trade.
Right.
Dude, hold on. Does Kansas City play Pittsburgh? No. Oh, they do. Could you imagine if he goes to what I would hope for? I never root for Pittsburgh because of Super Bowl 40. Could you imagine if they trade for Devontae Adams and Devontae Adams loses to Pittsburgh 3 times in one regular season? That would be like, now I kind of want it to happen, like because he lost when he was with Vegas to them. and he just lost in the Jets with them, and he gets traded one more time to Kansas City, and they lose to Pittsburgh again.
In week 17 because they're
Yeah,
just sitting
yeah,
their
that would be
starters.
just like the best thing ever. So let's start the rumor. They're gonna trade both receivers to Kansas City. You heard it here first.
Yeah.
And if this comes out to be true, we're gonna that'll be our tagline of this.
Called it.
Called it.
No other wide receiver is being talked about. Is it like
Yeah,
Miami's standing pat? Is their
they're about to get
payroll
Tua, and I
situation
mean,
okay?
once you turn that juggernaut switch with Tua, you see what that offense is, and they could beat anybody at that point. So I would
True.
flip it with them, but I mean, the Seahawks lose a couple more games. There's always the DK Metcalf rumors, but which they should not do. I don't want to get into that, but
No.
I mean, I'm trying to think what other team has I mean, obviously it wouldn't be the one would be Giants have two good receivers, but they're not drafting guys and immediately trading them. So yeah, I don't
True.
know of anybody else. I guess guys that would be dropping, or I guess I will say it's just so hard to bench Mahomes. He's Patrick Mahomes, but it's coming to the point where kind of got to think about it. The other one is Dak Prescott. Not benching him, but he's 85% rostered, and it's just has had one 20-point week this season. You know what I mean? They just had one, and he had a 5-burger last week. So I don't, 85% rostered, and he's just not doing much for you. So also Daniel Jones, 20% rostered. It's far too high. It's far too high. 20-point game against Seattle, but other than that, nothing. That's it. I don't know why Tua is dropping. Tua should be higher. Just come back, but maybe pick up Tua when he comes back if you're having Mahomes and let Tua roll with it for a week or so. Maybe that's the play. But those are my drops. Ooh, you want to go to running backs? You got
Yep. Let's do it.
who's you got a guy you love to pick up, or who you looking at?
Oh, Hank Bigsby, 26 carries against New England. I just don't know when ETN is going to be fully healthy. It hasn't been a hamstring, and then it was a shoulder, and then it's been something else earlier this year. And even when he was healthy to start the season, it wasn't very productive. And when it's been Bigsby's game to play, and he's the running back one for the Jags that week, he's really produced, and he got a really tough road ahead. I hate to invest too much in him, and I mean 67% rostered in Yahoo is kind of, people are starting to realize that I should just throw him on my bench, so I don't want to
68
get
ESPN. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean he's come in handy, especially during this run of bye weeks. I feel like last couple weeks had some, or even I have Mixon on my team, and up until recently, Mixon was dinged up. So it's been a nice bench piece to have, and I feel like you could bump him up a little bit more, especially if you're going to hand him the ball 26 times. That doesn't happen too much anymore in 2024.
Yeah, well, nothing's going right with the Jacksonville offense, so hand it off at least, and it worked. It worked.
Right.
So that's what it is. Yeah, honestly, they looked because I was able to watch that game again because they played in London, and we wake up for that game.
Yeah.
Every Sunday. So, but Tank Bigsby looked like the guy with the juice, and ETN does not. So you're saying like that, it's like Tank Bigsby might just be the better running back, straight up.
Right.
At this point, I don't know why teams are so. I get it, first round pick, blah 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 blah. But if the guy just plays better, just play him. I don't care. It's the whole idea. Just play the guy. So I agree with you. It is a little bit disconcerting because Ernest Johnson came in and had some success too, or 4 yards of pop too. But I just think that Tank Bigsby looks like the guy, and I hope they don't just play a worse player just because of it. The other one I'm kind of curious about is Ray Davis again for Buffalo. He got the start, looked really good on that game against the Jets, and obviously Cook came back, but Tank got some touches, averaged over 8 yards a touch, and then got a touchdown as well. So I just feel like there's going to get more and more playing time here. So Ray Davis, maybe. Buffalo's never been we're a one bell cow kind of team. And I think that maybe they're starting to back-to-back weeks of double digits fantasy points. So I just think maybe we're getting more into a timeshare in Buffalo. So I think
Yeah.
he's a nice little pickup. Again, don't invest a lot. He's 14% rostered. So, and again, it is definitely Cook's job for now. But if you get two more weeks of Ray, and they're playing Seattle, who has trouble stopping the run,
Mhm.
gets a couple of carries, I just feel like it could be a big breakout game for Ray Davis here soon. So I might jump on the bandwagon a little bit here. Let's see if he clears waivers and then pick him up on like Wednesday or something like that. See how that goes. I think that's the play for him, but he'd be a nice pickup.
His eyes look like almond, like gray. Sorry, I just noticed that.
I'm glad you said it because I never would have looked. Like I never,
Sorry, I was
never,
just
never would have
watched
looked.
a tangent. Netflix. It's a movie called Rebel Ridge.
Oh, I've heard about it. Yes, never. I haven't seen it.
Yeah,
I've heard about it. Good.
it was good. Yeah,
Okay.
definitely worth the watch.
Good.
Don Johnson is the corrupt police chief, and the main character is an actor I'm not familiar with, but his eyes same color
He just got
as Ray
cast
Davis.
as someone. Oh, I'm going to mess it up. It's a superhero movie. I believe one of the Green Lanterns. John Stewart and the Green Lantern.
Oh, interesting.
He's one of the new Green Lanterns
Okay.
because there's more than one. So I think that's, and I just saw it was from the movie you said, and I was like, oh, and because I heard that movie was good on with Netflix, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I was like, I heard that's good, and he's the main actor in it. And they just casted him as that guy, so that's how I remembered him. So it's
Yep.
fun to
And
watch.
then small role Roy from The Office. He's one of the policemen in it.
There you go. That's his name because that's just his name. So
That's just is what it
it
is.
is. It is. It is. I always refer to him as Roy. He'll never not be Roy. Like now I can't remember his name. He's Jim Halpert. It's just Jim. Yeah. So that's just their name. Okay, we'll go to dropping guys for running backs. People are dropping Rico. I can't never
Dapple?
pronounce his name. Twaddle. I
Dwaddle?
just think it's because they had a bad game against
Mm-hmm.
the Lions before the bye week, and what I'm going to say to that, he still averaged 5 yards a carry, and it was just we can do a swear show from the entire Dallas team. They were immediately down by $1 billion, and they're not going to run the ball. So I'm like, he's still the guy. Leave him alone. Why are we dropping him to 60%? He's still the guy. So slow your roll on that one. ETN's being dropped 91%. I think that needs to go more because I think he's going to lose his job. Said it.
Mm-hmm.
There, I said it. Yeah. Anybody else you're dropping, JT?
I thought about because I had Bucky Irving, and I was like, I couldn't really. I wanted to drop him because it looked like it was going to be a 3-headed attack in the running back room for Tampa Bay, and then, dude, like they're all so athletic. Actually, White seems like the least athletic now.
Yeah.
He seems like the old man, but like
Yeah.
they all feel like they could break off, and it's been pretty open about it. We're just going to go with the hot hand each game to game. It's like I don't really want a part of that, but like again, we referenced a bye week, you get in a bind or something. So I started Bucky, and I think he had a solid night overall with the
They had
touchdown.
10 touches, 10 touches, 5 touches.
Yeah, so I
They
mean,
literally split it up basically 3 ways. And I'm just like, oh my gosh.
I don't really want to be a part of that, but like push comes to shove, like it's kind of hand was forced, and it was better than the alternative. Although the alternative would have been like Justice Hill. He had a pretty good night for
Yeah.
Baltimore, but I think when the dust settles, I'd probably back out of that whole situation if I could.
Bucky did get you a
Ideally,
TD if you played him this week, so
yeah, and
snuck
it
it in.
ended up looking out, but like,
Yeah.
I feel like I'd lean towards Rico over Bucky, and I know the percentages are similar, but
in the backfield it looks like White, Bucky, and then oh man, quiz me on the third running back in Tampa Bay, Sean Tucker. There we go. I did look that one up. I didn't pull it off. I was like, but it looks like those are the 3 in that order. But again, like that order is real close compared to any threesome in the backfield, and so like you said, you're rolling the dice which one gets you a touchdown. It's like the Packers wide receivers. You're rolling the dice which one gets you a touchdown, and that's what it is. And It's not a game you want to play in fantasy. You want the rest of the guys to suck and your guy to be the one getting the targets and the touches. And unfortunately, it is not that way right now in Tampa Bay. Wideouts. It's a bummer. Everyone was picking up Juju, and that did not work out. I was a big Demario Douglas fan. How did he do? 2 for 14. Good thing I did not play him. But he also was nicked up too. So I think that it's more of like, he missed all the second half because he was sick. So I think Demario Douglas had a really good rapport in limited time with Mayo. What quarterback name for New England? I already said his name earlier. Drake May. I call it Mayo for some reason. He had really good rapport with him, so he's the guy I'd still pick up. I would not be bashful about the 2 catches for 14. I think it's just because he was sick and hurt, and he's a guy. He's the guy I'd pick up in that team, in that offense.
Yeah, if it helps you remember, isn't it pronounced Dorake Maye?
Yeah. Yep.
Because who is it? Michael Keys came on.
Substitute teacher.
He did all the rookies.
Oh, he did. I didn't see that. I missed that.
It might have been preseason.
Ooh, that's good. I
during the summer.
Yeah.
Yeah, he read off a few. That was one of them. There's most of the rookies that got drafted. Is what he did on the Rich Eisen's show. I think sometime during the summer.
Oh no, I did see part of it. I just maybe not saw Drake's, but that's
there's
classic.
Ladidi. I forgot how he pronounced the last name, but it's Lad McConkey. Ladidi something is so good. One injury and wide receiver forgot to mention because it was Thursday game, I think. Rashid Shaheed. So obviously, if you have him on your team, you're fully aware of that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of forgot to mention it because the Thursday game so long ago at this point, but. Man, a lot of wide receivers. Man, we're going to have to find some wide receivers to pick up for these people.
Pick up one of the Green Bay guys and hope they just catch a touchdown. That's my go-to. I should put on a T-shirt at this point. Because I don't know who's going to catch a touchdown. I picked up.
Go run out there and catch a touchdown. Print their shirts.
I picked up Bub Means and 3 catches for 37 yards, and I'm like, they don't got anybody playing, and then they lose a guy, and I'm like, man, do I even play Bub Means again? like he burned me once already. But I don't know. Someone's got to catch a touchdown pass, right? Or someone's got to catch a pass for the Saints, right?
Right.
But, I avoid that team. Chris Olave, it sounds like we'll be back. He's going to be the only guy that is probably worth rostering. Watch, then Bub Means will go off. But it is what it is. I was being all sneaky, 5% roster. I was like, I'm going to pick up Bub. I think I've got a good feeling he's going to be the guy. He was not the guy. Spoiler, he was not the guy.
It was Cedric Wilson Jr.
It was.
And that dude looks like a senior. I don't know why you're putting a junior at the end of the name.
No, you ain't fooling nobody.
You're bald with a beard. I don't think you qualify for a junior anymore, sir.
Classic look.
He's sharp, but yeah.
You're definitely not a junior at that point. Again, I like one, Tim Patrick, less than 1% rostered, but he's going to be the number 2 option there now.
Probably.
Or number 2 wide receiver option. Obviously.
Well, did Laporta get any mix in?
Well, he'll be tight. I was referring to more specifically the actual wide receivers, not pass catching options. But yeah, it'll be Laporta will be the.
Well, up until even I haven't checked this week, but Laporta hasn't been really involved in the offense. So I mean,
I feel like it's gonna be a mixture of Tim and and him. It's got to be him. Like they're gonna lean on him now more. They're gonna set things up for him to get him some touches if he can't go. So yeah, I think it's got to be him.
Yeah,
receiver
maybe
seems
he's born with it. Maybe it's Maybelline.
Maybe. I feel like wide receivers is just like you got your guys and your dudes, and then it's a bunch of like grab bag, and you're just like, I hope this guy like latches on somewhere. Like Keenan Allen. What do I do? It's the
DVD bin at Walmart. It's like some new stuff, some old stuff, and they're all the same value. And you're like, what is gonna just hit right?
Yeah,
on a movie night coming up where I need to play a DVD.
You can find some hidden gems in there, or you could find what is it like Sand Shark or Land Shark or whatever it is, where the ghost shark. Yeah, you find a ghost shark where you like if you've ever seen a trailer, you know what I'm talking about. It's hilariously bad. Or you could find some hidden gem in there, one or the other. So it's it's a good way to describe it, JT. It's the Walmart DVD bargain bin, which shockingly, since people don't buy DVDs a time anymore, it's still just a thing, and it's always just as full. It's just
yes,
it'll never go away. I'm just convinced. Zombie apocalypse gonna happen. Someone's gonna be filling that damn DVD thing. It's just like we gotta fill it up. We got it. Obviously, I would say one is 40% rostered. Alan Lazard. I don't know, fantasy wise, people. What are you doing? Number 3 receiver suddenly. Number 3 receiver, wide receiver. All of a sudden, it ain't a thing anymore. I don't think so. You'll probably get Alan Lazard around the 20% mark because that's what it's going to be. If you've rostered any Rams guy, wide receiver, Cooper Kupp's scheduled to come back, and same with Puka. So soon, Puka, not the same time Cooper Kupp, but soonish. So you can start getting ready to drop there, unfortunately. You're looking for options to pick up for bye weeks, but I'm telling you who to just drop because that's all we really know. We get it to say Dontavian Wicks, only 19% roster, but yeah, he looks like the odd man out in Green Bay. Juwan Jennings, I guess, is getting dropped, but he might get picked up again.
I was going to say, yeah, I just came across his name. I'm like, was he out for this last game? Is that what I remember?
He played. Or no, he was out.
Oh, was it?
He was out. Well, he was out. So yeah, you're right. But if he's healthy, he's got to be. I mean, Debo probably won't be 100% by next week, anyways. So he's got to get some playing time. Wait, are they out? Oh, they're off next week, aren't they? No, they play Dallas. So yeah, he's got to get a look if he can get on the field. So yeah, I think he's the guy.
Whoa, 1% rostered Cedric Tillman led all wide receivers in targets, other than the Monday night games.
Yeah.
12 targets, 8 catches, 2-point conversion. Can count on that. I mean, wide receiver 2, Judy's there. I don't know. Elijah Moore's there. I
trust that offense though to throw it a bunch in the future. That's my only issue.
I mean, technically no, but I don't even know what to make of Cleveland. Like, it's just a dumpster fire.
That's true.
Of everything. But 1%, 12 targets.
Yeah.
Technically, let's let's just check that little star to add to watch list.
Yeah. One I'm dropping more 80% rostered. Calvin Ridley hasn't really had. He got a big boost to 9 targets and only caught 3 of them. So I just 1 week over 6. It's not it, man. It's just not. It's not it. So I think that ship sailed. Not him. It's more, I think, the situation of who's throwing the football. But yeah, I think that's just where it's at right now with him.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, Jalen Waddle's being dropped, but I would say chillax on that one. Yeah, I think that's it for.
What do you make of like Christian Kirk, like Jacksonville? Because I say Jacksonville, I'm like yuck as an offense, and I know. I mean, I see Kirk at 80% rostered in Yahoo. 3 weeks of double digits with a high of 15, but we're talking about.
That was a 2 touchdown game, though, right?
Let's just see the single one.
Okay.
But the other 4 weeks are 3.5, 5.5, 3, and 0.4. That was week 2.
I just don't know what to do with that offense. We kind of talk. I don't.
Yeah.
I feel like they should be better, and they're just not. Is it a Trevor Lawrence thing? I hear film people talk all the time, like he's actually doing some nice things. That's just X, Y, and Z, and I tend to believe them. I listen to them. I trust their opinion, not like blindly, but I go like I'm hearing it enough from enough sources. I kind of tend to believe it. But I go like if that's the case, then like I feel like they have enough guys to get open.
Things.
Evan Ingram, yeah. Like I'm just like, is Evan Ingram just really the one going to suck up all the footballs? Like, is that?
I mean, he is back and healthy now. It very well could be.
They put up 30 something, and he only got 5 targets and 35 yards. So I'm like,
yeah,
it's got to come from somewhere. I've yet to figure out where. So
if I have Kirk on my roster and I'm seeing the next 4 weeks up through week 11 looking super juicy, they're going to have to pass to stay in these games against Green Bay, Philly, Minnesota, Detroit. They're going to have to score to stay
yeah.
in it.
Well, they'll
And
want to
then,
score. The question is, can they score?
sure.
Yeah.
So, but then by week 12, and then the remaining schedule looks tough. Maybe you just try to trade him for anything.
I mean, honestly, that might not be a bad play. See, like, hey, he's hot again, and then just try to dump him. Hopefully, they don't notice. But I
Actually,
mean, like, what if he is just the guy after a while? Because like, I feel like maybe some rapport might be happening. Because who's gonna catch a ball? Someone has to catch a. They put up 32 points. How do they score points? How did the
right?
Jacksonville score 32 points? I know defense helped out a little bit, but I'm like, man, like I don't know where to turn with that offense because Evan Ingram, Kirk should be better than they are and putting up more numbers. They're just, I mean, I get that Evan Ingram just got healthy and had a really good first game and didn't do much second game, but I'm like, are those two guys really enough to be like a focal point of my offense with Tanks Bigsby back there?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but they did put up 30 points. I don't know. I guess you're what I'm saying is your solution is as good as I got because I don't got one. So
Right. I just did the math real quick. Roughly week 11 is the trade deadline. Looks like that was the default for Yahoo this year. So it kind of coincides with this kind of schedule that I'm hashing out for Kirk. So
okay,
hey, why not?
yeah, I someone who doesn't listen to this podcast, yeah, absolutely do that. It sucks that we have this podcast and everyone we play with tends to listen, so can't pull that one over. So that sucks. But I think that's a really good idea, and I think that's probably how we do it. I I'm gonna say this: is Hunter Henry rosterable in more leagues now? 27% rosterable. Everyone went crazy after the Seahawks game. Then he did nothing for 3 weeks, and now double digit back to back double digit weeks. 8 catches, 92 yards against the Jags. He's a tight end, man. I'm like, he got 9 targets. I'm like, sign me up. I think that's pretty much end of discussion. Like, right? Like 9 targets.
Yeah, I think he's definitely a top 10 tight end. In terms of like potential
Yeah.
for the rest of the season. It's any tight end, it's either going to be volume based or a random touchdown. He has the potential for both. I don't think, or I should say either. The potential for both is low, but either is possible. But yeah, I think
Yeah, I think so too. What do you make of Will Dissly suddenly getting more? I know he got 11 targets and got 8 of them, but the targets were increasing slowly for Will Dissly during the season. Is he becoming like? What do you make of the 11 targets basically on Monday Night Football?
Did he get uglier? Sorry. Wow, that was really rude of me.
We tend to all JT a little bit as we get older.
His forehead ratio is like he could be a Manning cousin. Sorry.
Look,
Okay.
I'll stay out of the conversation because I'm right there with him.
True.
As I noticed it was actually funny yesterday. I had to share with my wife. I sat down in the kids' room with the youngest because he was crying, so I sat down there and I kind of looking at my phone while he's just kind of sitting off of the thing, and the baby cam can see the back of my head, and I'm like, I'm gonna do another swear here, and I say to my wife, I'm like, what the fuck is this? She's like, oh, that's what it is. I'm like, you didn't tell me. I was like, what's this? The monkey bun, the little circle back. I'm like, what? I knew I was receding here, but like, what the hell's going on at the top? I don't look at it. Like, I trusted you to look at it. Like, what's going on? And she's like, it's what it is. I'm like, God damn. So yeah, just yesterday. So I'll stay out of the hair conversation with anybody because I'm fighting my own battles right now. That sounds like.
Yeah. I had the same conversation a few years ago, and I buzzed my hair with a half number. It's not even a 1. I just buzz it really short anymore because it's just like
it's got to be my wife's like, you gotta get a haircut. I'm like, I should just buzz it. Like, what are we doing? Just buzz it. So
yeah,
I think I'm right there with you. I just
sorry, Will Disley, sorry, Sean, but yeah,
it's okay.
I don't know what's going on.
Me and Will Disley are both comfortable with what we got, and Will Disley's cashing checks, and I'm cashing much smaller checks.
There you
So
go.
I think
There you
he's
go.
okay with it. He could afford to get hair if he wants hair.
I don't think that would help him. Sorry. I gotta stay.
God,
You talk about
one
Will
more shot
Disney
at the
and
end, man.
we
One
gotta
more
move
shot.
on. I'm just staring at his mug and it's just
Hey, hey. I don't
I
disagree.
like seriously, this could be a skit where like, oh, the players in Halloween costumes this week and they just painted Will Disney's mugshot and like he could just be in a Halloween costume right now. Like he's like a daywalker.
I didn't even like you your eyes, his forehead. Like I don't like. I'm trying to wrap my head
I
around all of it,
I appreciate him as a former Seahawk, but I
but
didn't
not as a.
realize
That's where you draw the line.
I've just never seen a picture of him up close, I guess.
That's fair. That's
The
fair.
helmet really is becoming on him. Let's put it that way.
Favors. uh, T.J. Hawkinson, 69% rostered. He's looking to play next week. So just so everybody knows, if he's not rostered in your league, he will be eligible to play next week. Big boost for that offense. That is the last tight end that I would probably talk about. If you have one, do
Oh
something I will
no,
mostly.
no! I clicked
Okay.
away. Not overly. It is what it is. It's just one of those things. I'm ready to get like at this point. I'm ready to get Jake Ferguson back off of bye, so I don't have to like see Fryermuth at 75% roster. Although I mean, it might change with Russell now at the helm, but Dalton Schultz is 71% roster. He's not a part of the red zone offense. He's not really even a part of the offense. He just takes a lot of snaps and he blocks, I guess, all the time. But
What's that? Is it Michael Scott where he's like, he's not a part of this office family. He's not even a part of his own family.
his own
Like that kind
family,
of.
that's right.
Not even a part of this. So yeah, that's that's
I mean, based on the night that Cade Otton had, and based on both his primary wide receivers on his
true.
teammates going down, like maybe he sees a bump and he's
I looked at his numbers.
39% roster.
Yeah, I looked at his numbers. I'm like, not enough. But I forgot that all of his receivers are hurt. So
Right?
that is probably a good pickup. Yeah, you're a good catch because I was like, I like a little bit of K Dot, and I've liked him in the past, but I was just like, I don't think he's a guy. But I did
Mm-hmm.
forget both his receivers' legs exploded today. So that's true. That's true. Okay, yeah, that's a good pickup. K Dot. There you go.
Yeah.
There you
Cool.
go. Let's get to defenses. Man, well, Lions defense against Tennessee. What's Lions rostered? 54%. I'm liking that.
Yeah.
Let's see here. I'm trying to see what Jets are 84% rostered already. That's a no brainer.
I don't see any big name
Broncos
defenses
83,
on the
but
bye.
yeah, Broncos, Carolina. Yeah, Ravens 63 when they're playing Cleveland with whatever they're doing. What do you do? Packers versus Jacksonville? We just talked about Jacksonville. We don't know what to make of that.
Right?
You roll that route? Are you trust the Packers a little bit? They've got
Yeah, I like the Packers. They've got some young talent.
They scored double digits in 4 of the 7 weeks. Why are they only 30% rostered? That seems
I don't
weird.
know. The Chargers get New Orleans, and New Orleans is pretty banged up offensively.
Yeah,
Could be juicy.
Could be juicy. Let's see here. Who else? No, not the Patriots. As much as I don't like the Jets offense right now, I just don't like the Patriots defense. Kansas City, 31% roster. They're playing Vegas with no Adams, backup quarterback. Who does anything for that offense? Chiefs defense. Here we go. Sign me up.
Boom.
Boom.
That's true.
Boom. Denver at Panthers. That's going to be defenses playing defense. I do not condone picking up the Panthers defense. I'm just saying, like, it's going to be 2 people fighting with those stuffed foam gladiator, American Gladiator things. Just
Q-tips, the giant Q-tips.
No, but they're like foam ones, the blow up ones. The air. No one's doing any real damage to each other. You want to, like, you're trying. The moment I realized, the moment you want to do damage with that to somebody, you'll pop it. So that's what the point is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm gonna get you. Then you pop your thing. You're like, oh, well, there
Or
goes
the
that.
recoil is so great it affects you more
Yeah,
than the other
yeah,
person, or
yeah.
equally.
So we used to do that with me and my friends had went to season tickets to the Tri City Fever indoor arena football team. And they always gave out those once you do that, and we would always
Mm-hmm.
involve in hitting each other, and they would break immediately. And that's where I got the experience from. Like, because you want to do some damage to the person you're hitting, but as soon as you really grab the thing and hit them, they'll just pop. And so you're like, I
Yeah.
can't. Even if I want to do damage, I'll just like deflate myself basically. So that's how I feel about that offensive matchup against each other. So, um, yeah, I think that's it for the defenses. That just yeah, look who plays the Panthers and the bad offenses, and you're good to go. I think we cover those guys. New England,
Yeah.
Tennessee. Yeah, I'm going Lions against Tennessee. That is my 54% run. That's my guy. Those are my guys. That's my pick right there. I trust them. The Lions are hot, so I do that. Yep, that's it. That's it. Oh, hold on. I got a fantasy dad bod of the week. You got
Go for it.
hold on. You got to stall for a second.
Well, I was circling back because I just feel like I was like, man, I don't know if we covered wide receivers enough because it's like there's so many dudes to replace. It's going to be redonkulous. It's so funny. It's just you're so right. Pick a Green Bay wide receiver, whoever's available in your league. Roll the dice.
It just feels like that. Like Tank Dell got no catches this week for
So
the.
random.
I'm just like there's a lot of situations where they're like I like three options, but when it's the same thing as the Tampa Bay backfield. I like the options. There's just too many of them, and honestly, that
Right.
ends up hurting you in the long run. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
just too many. There is
I
too much.
will. Yeah, I'll say Rashad Bateman. It's kind of all or nothing, kind of
Yep.
like a Watson. But
Uh,
Bateman's only 17% rostered. And
and
then who else?
Flowerson played today too, I believe.
Oh yeah.
Did he play? I think he played early and then got hurt. So I think that's
Okay.
why like David kind of went off.
Oh,
But yeah,
there you go.
if
And
Zay Flowers does get
then
hurt, yeah,
Jalen Tolbert, 20% rostered on the bye week, and I feel like he's the wide receiver too in Dallas,
yeah,
and so that seems pretty decent. Again, like we talked about, CD's going to have all the coverage, and Tolbert could get you 5 catches
someone
and a
has to catch
decent
a
chunk
pass.
of
Yeah,
yardage. So
the
yeah,
offense is too good to
yeah,
not be doing that. So yeah, that's a good call. So fantasy dad bod of the week, Kurt Cangnetti, the Indiana football head coach. I don't know if you've seen this guy. He
no,
had two viral moments that I saw. He said one where why are you so confident coming in the season? He says, I just win. Google me. Pretty bossy move. They are now ranked for the first time, or ranked this highly for the first time in like 60 years or something like that. They are 7-0. Indiana, obviously not a powerhouse football. But then he said he went on the Pat McAfee show yesterday and said they're like, oh, you travel, you get to games early. He goes, no, I don't like staying in hotels. I like to show up as late as possible. We get there the night before. We show up at 8:00. We eat dinner. We go to bed. We get up. We do our stretches. We kick their ass and we go home. And I'm like, and I don't know if you saw the score, JT. They ran over Nebraska. And
yeah,
are you gonna say he's wrong? Tell me I'm wrong. You know what I mean? Yeah. Tell
dang,
me I'm wrong. And I'm like, he's been coaching here for 7 games. He's got 2 boss sayings. Like, you know what I do? I win. Google me. I'm like, that's like, and you keep winning, respect it. And yeah,
he looks out of place. He looks more like a basketball coach than a football
he
coach.
does.
Let's
He
just
does.
be honest.
63-year-old man. I'm a man. I'm 40. Still, it counts. So, yeah, he does have 3 kids. I'm on his Wikipedia page. So there you go. Yeah, there we go.
He just says it so matter of fact too. Just
Yeah.
he's almost looks defeated. Like, guys,
Like, how did you
just
not? Yeah,
like I'm insulted, but I'm not going to get mad because we're undefeated, and it's not going to be. I don't want to make this too viral, so I'll just subtly make this viral by throwing a Google me 3 seconds after
it's
I
it's
win.
just it's just so good. It's just so good. Google me. I
So
won't.
would you rather?
So
Would you
if you
rather?
haven't seen it, guy, he looks totally annoyed.
Yeah.
He hates being there. It's fantastic. So yeah, that's my fantasy dad bod player of the week. Not even a player, just Indiana football coach. Shout out my boy Max. But yeah, I win. Google me.
It reminds me of the other one. What was it? Well, how old is he now? The OSU Oklahoma State.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
Yeah, isn't he's probably 60 by now? That was quite
I'm
a
a
while ago.
man. I am 40. Coach, who's that guy?
He's got that luscious kind
Mike
of like
Gundy.
full. Yeah.
Mike Gundy.
How old is he now? Born in 67.
57.
Yeah,
He's
he's
57 years old.
57.
Yeah. He's wait, was he Oklahoma State head coach then too? He was. He's still the Oklahoma State head
He
coach.
still is since 05. Have you seen the lettuce on him recently? He has got some hairdos. He looks like Billy Ray Cyrus, like prime, like 80s, 90s Billy Ray Cyrus.
He's the second longest tenured head football coach of one school.
Ever?
Currently.
Or current. Okay.
Kyle
I was like,
Whittingham,
no
Utah,
way.
longest.
Forgot about that guy. Shout out. Yeah, it's not even
I think it's a different Whittingham.
okay.
I googled it. It is different. So
yeah, it's not even. But Gundy, it's not even like it's a mullet in the back, but up front, it's like a slick back. It's business, like all the time in the front, and it's like it's party time business in the back. Like I'm just at a loss for words. We don't have the hair that he does. I'm just jealous. Man, I'm just jealous. This is impressive.
Okay,
I'm not even mad.
When did you think that moment I'm a man of 40 came about? What year?
2010.
2007.
Oh, wow.
That's what I said. I thought it was much later because we were like living with each other and all that stuff. I thought it was like way past it. We were in college when that happened. We weren't even living together. So we must have seen a flashback when they played on Sports Center when we were watching it.
He was on his third year there. He started in 05.
Yeah.
And he just stands up for his
It just blew my mind because we watched in the apartment and we weren't living with each other in 2007. We were living close to each other, hanging out with each other at college at the time.
Right.
So we must have watched an old flashback or something like that. And I don't know. That just blew my mind. Okay. Yeah. I was just like, I was for sure. It was like you said, 2010, 2011, or yeah, like when we were all there together. But like, no. But also shout out him, Dad Bod, Mike Gundy, standing up for a kid because he's 40.
Yeah, coaches would be.
There you go. Come after me. I'm a man. I'm 40. I also can't wait. I've been waiting for our buddy Joey when we start turning 40 because that's all we're gonna say for the entire year. I say it to Joey all the time, and even though we're not 40, and I can't wait. Can't wait till we're both 40. And
there we go. Let's print those shirts.
Come after me. Oh man, I'm 40, and I'll wear it, and there'll be like 2 people who get it, but those 2 people, that's one of those people at the bar you see, and they'll get it, and you're like friends for the rest of the night. It's one of those. You're like,
yeah, it just immediate. If you get it, then you're on a level that I trust you, and I know what you're about.
Yeah, exactly. Come after me. Oh, man, 40. Oh, classic.
Awesome, cool. All right, well, tweet at us. We're at Fantasy Dad Pods on the X. If you got any start sit questions or whatever, we're here. We're available. Let us know. But as always, we thank you for joining us. We appreciate you listening. Take care. Be well. And until next time, see ya.
See ya.